Welcome back, everyone, to the Buds Mafia YouTube channel. If you haven't already, comment, like, subscribe. Today's video, I'll be building what I think should be Team Canada's 2030 Olympic roster. Fell short this year. I thought we played better, but that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, USA got it done. A lot of guys will be getting older, but we have a lot of young studs coming up into the Hockey Canada system, and there'll be a lot of guys who will not be on this team, who are on the 2026 team, who still could be on the 2028 World Cup, but we're talking about the 2030 Olympic roster. A lot of guys who haven't been drafted yet, and a lot of guys who are starting to make their mark. Let's get into that roster.
Tavares coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! Morgan Riley! Mo Riley! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round!
Gonna run for it, he got it! And there he goes! Inside the 10, the 5! Oh, the play of the year in the NFL!
Let's start with the forwards, and let's get the main one right out of the way. No debate whatsoever. Maybe captain, we'll see, depending on if there's someone else who will still be on the lineup. But that will no question be Connor McDavid. He'll be 33 at that time, but he'll still be an absolute elite player, likely the best player in the league. By the math I did, he'll be reaching like 1,700 points at that point. I'd be shocked if he didn't have a Stanley Cup at that point. Might not be with Edmonton, but he'll still be the best player in the world. Number one center, no debate there. And then next, his winger, who I thought their chemistry during the Olympics was phenomenal, is Celebrini. He will likely still be the wing. I mean, he'll be like 22, 23 at that point. Maybe they still want him at center because he could be one of the best in the world, but their chemistry at this Olympics, their chemistry likely at 2028 Olympics. He could have some hardware by 2030. San Jose could make some runs, but no doubt Celebrini will either be on the wing of McDavid or that second line center role. Then a player who I feel like could really play well on that right side is Mitch Marner. Him and McDavid played well together at the Four Nations when they did do that line, even though they didn't play together often. He's just a smart player. I know they like Marner, Crosby, and Stone together. I don't think Stone will be on this team, but we'll get to that. But Marner, just a disher. He can skate, not as flat out skating like McDavid and Celebrini, but he can work his edges. He can find those guys. I think that is a pretty elite top line. And then next, no surprise here again, Nathan McKinnon. He'll be like 34 years old, maybe 33 years old. But again, same thing with McDavid, will still be one of the best players in the world. I could definitely see them running back that top line of McDavid, Celebrini, and Marner. But I think you can spread it out a bit more to the other guys that are coming up. And I really like McKinnon centering that second line. And he's going to have some young studs on his wing, with the first one being Connor Bedard. People are saying, oh, he should have been on this team. He should have been my 2026 team. There's no doubt he'll be on the 2028 World Cup and definitely 2030 Olympics. Listen, I think he will develop as a center continuously throughout his NHL career, especially in the next 4 years. But with his shot, his playmaking, his IQ, everything on the wing of McKinnon sounds pretty good. And I could also see Bedard up there with McDavid and Celebrini because he can skate as well. But I could definitely see Bedard on McKinnon's wing. And the guy who I think will be next, who is yet to be drafted but likely first overall, is I have Gavin McKenna on that wing of McKinnon and Bedard. McKenna has shown to be more of a playmaker more than a scorer, or at least a shooter, where Bedard is kind of a shot first mentality player, but definitely great passing IQ. I mean, Bedard will be 24 and it will be like 22 at this time, just hitting their primes. Bedard will be in his prime. That is a pretty disgusting top six, if you ask me. I mean, that top line of Celebrini, McDavid. We saw what they did, and you put a playmaker like Marner there, and then it's a young line. I have no doubt McKenna will be a stud in the NHL. People are doubting him, and then I think he had an 8-point night the other day against Ohio State and around like 30 points his last 12. So he'll be just fine. And Bedard is on pace to be a 50-50 player, no doubt, in my opinion. And you'll still have the superstar in McKinnon down the middle. And then third line, I have Seth Jarvis on that left side. I know he is usually on the right. He's a right winger / can take draws. But I think this third line you'll see is a very two-way heavy line. I am a big fan of this line, but you'll see didn't stand out like crazy at the Four Nations and the Olympics, but I think he's one of the most underrated forwards in the NHL. is very smart with the puck, incredibly two-way, can produce offense. He'll be a 30-30 guy his entire career. I think he can even improve. And with his center, or with his wingers and center, I love Nick Suzuki. I mean, he got really dogged a lot for the Olympics. He was put on the wing of McKinnon. He's a natural centerman. He's one of the best two-way centermen in the league. He's a 90-point scorer with being also one of the best face-off men in the NHL. I think this line can produce some offense, but as well as shut it down if need be. And a winger who we're filming this on February 26th, who first night back of hockey absolutely lit up the stat sheet, Wyatt Johnston. I think this guy is poised to make the 2028 World Cup team, and I think his two-way play gets kind of often unnoticed, where I think Jarvis Suzuki are very smart with the puck, very smart defensively, and you find that natural goal scorer Wyatt Johnston, who is on pace for his first 40-goal season. So that's the top 9 I have. A very young, obviously McKinnon and McDavid are on the older side at that point. Wyatt Johnston will, I believe, be around 26, Suzuki around 30, Jarvis around like 26, 25. But I think that is a very elite top 9. And then going down to the fourth line here, not too many changes. I have Brandon Hagel on that left side. People weren't a fan of him. People were a fan of him making the team for sure. Maybe weren't a fan of his play. They stuck him with McKinnon at times. He'll be 31 at the time, but I think 31 is a great age just for a fourth line. I mean, at the time with Tampa, he'll still be an elite player, but what he can bring to the table for Canada at that role, I think, will be no doubt. And then on his wing, a guy who continuously gets better, is kind of getting overlooked in the rookie race this year by the likes of, Schaefer and Demidov, Wallstedt, but I have Beckett, Seneca on that wing. To me, he can really develop into a two-way monster. He's got size. He's continuing to get bigger and stronger with this Anaheim team. They have Joel Quenneville, who's got a 1,000th win. They're in a weaker Pacific Division. These next 4 years, I think Anaheim can really take hold of that division. They're young, but they're getting better and better. He'll be at a prime age of 24. Like, we're talking a young buck who can kind of do it all. So I'm a big fan of Beckett Seneca. And then I wasn't going to have him on the team. I really just didn't know. And not that he wouldn't make it. If he's playing, he's on the team. But he'll be around 41, 42 at the time. But my brother kind of convinced me, Sidney Crosby. If he's in the NHL, he's on the team. There's no doubt about that. He'll obviously be on 2028. It was killer not having him in that finals. But if he's a health nut, right? He is a guy who's one of the hardest workers that ever play in the NHL. So we'll see if he's on the team, see if he's still in the NHL. But in 4 years from now, I think if they won this goal, I feel like he maybe would have not dialed it back, but maybe not as pushed as hard. But I think with that sour taste in his mouth, not playing and losing to the United fucking States, I think he will be there. Where's 2030? France Alps? Fuck it. I think so. Now let's get to the defense. This is where I think defense and goaltending vastly improves from this Olympics and will improve in the future as well. Matthew Schaefer. I think he should have been on this team to begin with. I really thought he could have been on this team. You can't, losing Morrissey was tough. I thought he really could have provided that offense and steady puck moving that maybe Canada's back end lacked in the depth of their defensive roster. But Schaefer will be there, and he'll be paired with, still to me, Cale Makar, one of the best defensemen in the NHL. I know Quinn Hughes they're neck and neck, but I think most GMs will still take Cale Makar. They'll be at prime ages. Schaefer will be 22 at this point, which is fucking insane. He'll be on the 2028 team, no question. Makar will be 31, still in his prime. That is just two guys who can skate, can fly down the ice, are always active in the play. We'll talk about why I don't have Devon Taves there. Yeah, that's just an absolute elite top pairing there. Then moving on, Thomas Harley. I think he had a tough start to the season this year. At least maybe in the eyes of the league or eyes of the fans and every media. He signs that big deal, 10 and a half. Was called on Four Nations. I thought looked awesome. And then from the jump, I thought he looked phenomenal at the Olympics. I thought he plays with so much confidence. People were upset he shot that puck against the Czechia. That was blocked. I mean, when there's fucking 10 guys on the ice, it's bound to hit one of them. But yeah, I think Thomas Harley will continue to get better. And he'll be 28 that time, just one of the best defensemen in the league, and really help that left side. And then his partner, a guy who I don't know if should have been on this team. I think looking back, maybe, but it's hard. It's easy to do that in hindsight. But I think with bringing back Paul Coffey 4 more years of Paul Coffey. Hopefully for his development, he's going to continue to develop in all aspects of the game. He's already one of the best offensive defensemen in NHL. That's no doubt. It's the two-way game. If there was no Makar this Olympics, he would be on that team to provide that offense on that power play. I think these next 4 years, he'll be 30 years old, around 30 years old at that time, bringing in Paul Coffey, enhancing and just continuing to develop all aspects of his game. There's no doubt I think he'll be on that 2030 lineup. And then now rounding out with the depth of this team, Josh Morrissey. He'll be on the bit older side. I think he'll be around 34, 35, but he needs some veteran leadership on that back end. It's a killer that he got hurt, but I still love his play. I still think he'll just provide so much poise on that back end. Yeah, and then his partner, I have Keaton Verhoff. This one, it's iffy because I know he was projected like a guy who years ago he was like, this guy could challenge Gavin McKenna. He's one of the players like Gavin McKenna who went from I think he's Prince George to or Victoria, I think, went to North Dakota, played at World Juniors. People were iffy on him. He's a pretty offensive minded defenseman, but he's got the size. He's like 6'4", 210, right-handed shot. We're talking about 4 years from now, so he could definitely be an elite defenseman by that point, establish his game a bit more. He's 21 at that point. He's 18 points in 28 games for North Dakota, consensus top 3 pick, maybe even higher depending on what team. But I like to see him on this team. I think he can get it done. And then the depth. This is where kind of things change a lot. I have Jacob Chychrun. I think he will continue to thrive in this Washington team, who I think, even though they're struggling to make playoffs right now, I think there's a lot of youth on this team that can really make things happen. He's one of the best goal-scoring defensemen in NHL. I think his defensive game will continue to improve. He's a workhorse. He can play 30 minutes if need be. He'll be 31 at that time, so I feel like he'll he'll push for to make that 2028 team. I think he will learn a lot more about all aspects of the game and really improve. And then this last right side, I'm a little iffy on. Again, guys can come out of nowhere. No one really heard of a Colton Parayko. No one really heard of, Travis St. Nine played World Juniors, I'm pretty sure, and it was a highly intriguing prospect. So there could someone be coming out of the woodwork these next 4 years, but I'm basing off what the prospect system is right now, upcoming drafts and the talent in NHL. But I have Noah Dobson. I think he will I think he's been playing great in that Montreal system. They've been kind of let Lane Hudson run free. He's a number one guy there, but Noah Dobson's been definitely a great number 2 defenseman on that team. St. Louis done a great job with him. I think he'll improve all aspects of the game. And he'll be around 30 years old at that time. So I think a bottom pairing, even though, again, it's from the fourth line pairing, so they're likely not play a lot, if at all. But I think filling in some guys of Chychrun and Dobson could be very beneficial. Now, goalies. This is, I only have one returning goalie from this Olympics. And the third string goalie, who again likely not even play or suit up or anything, but I have Sebastian Cossa. He's probably the best Canadian goalie NHL affiliated prospect we have in the whole NHL right now. He'll be 27th this time, so a prime age for goalie. He was 15th overall in the 2021 draft. He is dominating the AHL. I think that's why they want to get a big fish in that. Obviously, they got John Gibson, who's been playing very solid for them. They're like first or they're second in the division or third or whatever the fuck it is. But they're waiting for his time. I think he'll be there. I think 2028 is really early, but 2030, like I said, goalies sometimes don't take to the late 20s, early 30s to really develop, and I think we could see him. I don't know about the number 1 or 2 spot, but I'd be shocked if he's not in that top 3 system or top 3 rotation. And then I have Logan Thompson. I think same thing with Chychrun. I think these guys are going to continue. I think that Washington team is built for a long time. By that time, he'll be 33. Like I said, that's like Hellebuyck right now is 32 and he's middle of his prime. I think Logan Thompson, he'll improve on his consistency. I think he, year in, year out, he'll continues to get better, and I think he will be. I think he'll be Canada's starting goalie or likely starting goalie by 2028 World Cup. If not, I have this guy who I think should have been on the team. I would have had him over Darcy Kemper and his Colorado goalie, Mackenzie Blackwood. He is a gamer. He was known to be stone cold throughout his career, had some hiccups in New Jersey, went to San Jose, revived his career. San Jose was a dumpster fire, so his market was skyrocketed, and I think he will be the starting goalie for Canada in 2030. He's battling with Logan Thompson. I think he'll be battling with Logan Thompson for 2028 as well. He'll be 33 by that time, same as Logan. Same thing. I think he will continue to improve his consistency. Was phenomenal for Colorado when he got traded there last year. Is phenomenal. Continue to be phenomenal this year. If he can stay healthy, same thing with Logan Thompson. I think we have a very solid 1-2 duo there with a young guy backing, or with the third stop. And then extras, I have two extras, a 25-man roster, Mason McTavish and Dylan Guenther. I think if Crosby is not there, if he is aged out, because again, even if he's getting 10 points a season, but he's still in the NHL, he'll be on that team. But if he's not in the NHL, I love Mason McTavish's game. He doesn't cheat the game. You look at his points, 30 points, 50 games right now, nothing crazy, but I think he plays it the right way. He lets the top guys and I'm get it done. And he doesn't lack skill. He doesn't lack that toughness. And in 4 years, I think he can really develop into just a mean prick who has tons of upside. And as well as Dylan Guenther. I think Dylan Guenther could easily be in that right slot on the third line instead of Wyatt Johnson. I'm a big fan of Wyatt Johnson's game. I think he's shown more, but Dylan Guenther, I think his shot is one of the most, it's one of the best in the league. I think he could be a 40-40 guy, maybe even more. Again, we're talking about 4 years from now, so he could really be a force. So I think you have a good mix of a McTavish who can kind of mix it in a little bit, be that Sam Bennett type of player, and then Guenther, if a top 9 guy goes out with some skill, he can get in there. For a lot of the guys who didn't make the team, Doughty, he'll be 40. He won't be on the 2028 team. I actually thought he played well, or at least played decent at this Olympics, but he won't be on the team. Devon Taves, he'll be like 35, 36. I just I would like Morrissey. I know you could say, oh, he plays Makar. We'll see about that at that point, but I would much rather obviously Harley, Morrissey, Schaefer, and even Chychrun there. Say Theodore was tough over. I'd have Chychrun over him. He'd be 33, 34 at that time. He played decent, but I like the future of Chychrun more. Anthony Cirelli, he's the one I could see maybe taking over. McTavish, more experience. He'll be around 32. He missed out on this one. I think he's an incredible two-way centerman. I think McTavish has a lot more offensive upside, but Cirelli is an incredible centerman who's been up for the Selke a few years in a row here. Mark Stone, I think he played solid at 2026, but he's going to be like 37. I just think he'll be aged out and he's already not the best skater. I think in 4 years from now, I would be a better skater. Horvat, I could see Bo Horvat still being that fourth line center or as an extra instead of McTavish. He'll be around 33, 34. He was incredible in the faceoffs. He's one of those guys like that Patrice Bergeron in 2010 that just wins, draws, and get off. And he still provided some offense, so I could still see him be on the team. Sam Reinhart was tough to say. I would say Sam Reinhart and Braden Point were one of the toughest to snub off. Point will be 33, Sam Reinhart 34. Sam Reinhart's just we're talking about a 50-goal scorer, right? 2-time Stanley Cup champion. I'm a guy who's great as the bumper on the power play. Point, watching Point play against Toronto the other night made me regret my decision on not having on the team. He was flying out there, but again, we're talking about 4 years from now. I think a lot of this young talent will surpass a lot of these older guys. And we'll see. And Brad Marchand will be 41. I can't see him be on the team. And then finally, Tom Wilson. If Tom Wilson 34 years old is the same as Tom Wilson right now, I think Tom Wilson will be on this team instead of like a Beckett Seneca or any of the extras. But the way he plays, I think things can take I don't want to say a turn for the worse, but things could just change a lot in 4 years. All right, guys, that is the roster I have. I think I'm going to make one for the USA as well because I posted a video recently. It's like, I do think that was USA's best chance to win it for the young talent that Canada has coming up. But it's not like USA doesn't with, the likes of Lane Hudson, Cutter Gauthier, I spent a Matthew Knies, maybe a James Higgins, but I think Canada is well set up. That was a tough loss, but I think we'll fucking get them back at it at 2028 and 2030. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe to the Buzz Mafia YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next time.
Tavares coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! Morgan Riley! Mo Riley! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round!
Gonna run for it, he got it! And there he goes! Inside the 10, the 5! Oh, the play of the year in the